Imagine living a life of luxury and power only to find your world shattered by betrayal and a crime so heinous it grips an entire nation. Today, we dive into a tale where wealth and deception collide in a shocking twist of fate. Welcome to the story of Marcos Matsunaga, a saga that reveals how love, jealousy, and greed can lead to the most tragic of outcomes. Hello, I'm Jason, and in this episode, we're unraveling a story that shocked Brazil and made headlines around the world. It's the tale of Marcos Matsunaga, a wealthy businessman whose mysterious disappearance in 2012 set off a chain of events leading to a revelation that no one could have predicted. This story is more than just a crime. It's a mirror to the complexities of human emotions and the depths to which they can take us. So, let's embark on this journey together and uncover the truth behind the headlines. Who was Marcos Matsunaga, and how did he ascend to such heights of wealth and influence? Born into the lap of luxury, Marcos was not just any heir. He was a chosen successor to Yoki, a renowned food production empire founded by his grandfather, Yoshizo Kitano. Imagine the weight of such a legacy on your shoulders. How do you carve your path when a path of gold is already laid out for you? This was the conundrum that faced young Marcos. Despite the opulence surrounding him, Marcos's life was far from a fairy tale. Behind the grandeur and the public image of success lay a world fraught with personal challenges. What are these invisible battles that even the silver spoon cannot shield you from? Let's peel back the layers. From a young age, Marcos grappled with issues that his family's wealth couldn't solve. He faced a constant struggle with his self-image, compounded by his childhood obesity and vision problems that necessitated glasses. Picture a young boy surrounded by affluence, yet unable to fit in with his peers. How lonely that must have felt. This isolation followed him into adulthood, shaping his interactions and worldview. Marcos's journey to the helm of Yoki wasn't just handed to him on a silver platter. He had to navigate the complex dynamics of a family business and the immense expectations placed upon him. How does one deal with the presence of not just maintaining, but also expanding a business legacy? That was the Herculean task that Marcos undertook. Here was a chance to make his mark, to prove that he was more than just an heir. His ambition drove him to expand the business, diversifying its portfolio and increasing profits. But with every step he took toward professional success, his personal life seemed to take 2 steps back. Despite his business acumen, Marcos's love life was a stark contrast to his professional achievements. His wealth and status did not make him the desirable bachelor one might expect. Instead, his personality traits, perceived arrogance, a need for control, and a difficult temperament pushed people away. How does one cope with such loneliness at the top? Is it possible to find genuine connections when you're viewed through the lens of your wealth? Marcos's journey from a privileged yet troubled child to the CEO of a family empire was a classic tale of legacy and ambition. But as we delve deeper into this life, one question lingers. Did all this bring him the happiness he sought, or did it lead him down a path of unexpected twists and tragic turns? Marcos Matsunaga's complex personal life mirrored his intricate business world. His struggles in relationships led him to the company of escorts, and it was in this unlikely place that he met Alice, a woman from a starkly different background. This was the start of a story that seemed like a modern-day Cinderella tale, but with a dark twist lurking beneath the surface. Alice, coming from a background of hardship and struggle, represented a world far removed from Marcos's affluent upbringing. Her life was a constant battle against poverty and adversity, leading her to the world of escort services as a means of survival. This decision, though born out of necessity, marked a pivotal turn in her life. Their relationship began in a realm far removed from traditional romantic beginnings. It was a connection that raised questions about the nature of love and the forces that drive us towards each other. How does love evolve in such an unconventional scenario? What are the dynamics at play when 2 people from such disparate worlds come together? As their relationship deepened, it became more than just a series of encounters. It evolved into a complex bond filled with emotional layers and unspoken expectations. But in this unusual love story, we're left to ponder, where does love turn into obsession? And at what point does a fairy tale start to reveal its darker undercurrents? In 2012, just as he was about to clinch a billion-dollar deal, Marcos Matsunaga suddenly vanished into thin air. This was no ordinary disappearance. It was a vanishing act that would soon become the talk of an entire nation, stirring up a whirlwind of speculation and investigations. Initially, suspicion cast a wide net, with many pointing fingers at potential business rivals. But as the investigation deepened, the narrative began to shift, uncovering layers of secrets and revealing a much more personal and complex story. Quick reminder, for those of you who are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Let's journey back to that fateful day. Marcos, at the pinnacle of his career, was on the verge of transforming not just his fortune, but the entire trajectory of his family's business. Imagine the pressure, the anticipation, and the stakes involved. Yet, in the blink of an eye, he disappeared. What could lead a man at the height of his success to suddenly go missing? As the news broke, the initial theories were steeped in the cutthroat world of business. Was this a case of corporate sabotage? Had a rival decided to play the ultimate card to disrupt the deal? The questions were many and the answers were few. The police began their investigation, peeling back the layers of Marcos's business dealings, searching for clues in the murky waters of high-stakes corporate negotiations. But as they delved deeper, the focus of the investigation began to shift. The authorities started to look closer to home. What secrets did Marcos's personal life hold? Were there clues within his household that could explain his sudden disappearance? This shift in focus brought a new set of questions to the forefront. What happens behind the closed doors of a seemingly perfect life? Can the facade of a happy and successful family man hide darker truths? The days following Marcos's disappearance were marked by a frantic search, both by the authorities and the media. The country was captivated, hanging on to every development, every lead, no matter how small. The police scoured through CCTV footage, phone records, and witness statements, trying to piece together the puzzle of his last known movements. As the investigation progressed, it became increasingly clear that this was not a straightforward case of a business deal gone awry. Instead, it was shaping up to be a tale of personal relationships, hidden truths, and a life that was not as it appeared. This was a story that would challenge our understanding of what drives a person to the edge, and what happens when the public persona clashes with private reality. When the truth finally surfaced about the mysterious disappearance of Marcos Matsunaga, it was a revelation so harrowing that it sent shockwaves across the nation. The once inconsolable widow Alice emerged not as a grieving spouse, but as the prime suspect in a case that had turned from a missing persons investigation into a chilling tale of murder. But what leads a person to the brink of committing such a heinous act? In this part of our story, we delve deep into the human psyche, exploring the complexities and the breaking points that can drive an individual to do the unthinkable. The transition of Alice from a perceived victim to the alleged perpetrator raised profound questions about the nature of their relationship, the dynamics within their household, and the hidden struggles they faced. As the investigators pieced together the events leading up to Marcos's disappearance, a different picture of their marriage began to emerge. It was a relationship that, on the surface, seemed to be filled with luxury and happiness, but beneath the facade lay a tumultuous and strained bond. What happens in the shadows of a marriage where power, control, and emotional turmoil intertwine? How do love and despair coexist in the same place? And at what point does the scale tip toward tragedy? The unraveling of this case brought to light details that were as shocking as they were tragic. The narrative that unfolded was one of jealousy, betrayal, and a series of events that culminated in a crime so brutal it was hard to comprehend. Alice, who once stood by Marcos's side as his partner and confidant, was now at the center of a storm of accusations and revelations. We explore the motives, the psychological underpinnings, and the series of events that may have led to this tragic outcome. What was the tipping point for Alice? How did her past, her experiences, and her relationship with Marcos converge into a moment of such extreme and irreversible action? As we conclude the tumultuous saga of Marcos Matsunaga, we are left to reflect on the aftermath and the indelible marks it left behind. The conviction of Alice not only brought a tragic chapter to a close, but also left a family in disarray, struggling to piece together their shattered lives. Most heartbreakingly, it left a young daughter without a father. her future forever altered by the events that unfolded. In the wake of such a harrowing tale, we find ourselves grappling with more questions than answers. What lessons can be gleaned from a tragedy that seems to defy understanding? How do we process a story that oscillates between love and hatred, sanity and madness, the ordinary and the unthinkable? One of the most poignant reflections of the story is the dichotomy between public persona and private turmoil. Marcos, a successful businessman, and Alice, a woman who overcame her challenging past, appeared to be a couple that had it all. But behind the facade of success and happiness, there was a tumultuous storm brewing. This story forces us to confront the often hidden realities of mental health struggles, emotional abuse, and the extreme actions they can precipitate. The aftermath of this tragedy also shines a light on the broader societal implications. It raises questions about the treatment of mental health, the societal pressures to maintain a certain image, and the often overlooked signs of domestic turmoil. How does society respond to the complexities of such cases, and what can be done to prevent similar tragedies in the future? Furthermore, this story brings to the forefront the consequences of our actions and how they ripple through the lives of those around us. The impact on the daughter of Marcos and Alice is a stark reminder of the innocent lives that are often caught in the crossfire of adult conflicts. How does a child make sense of such a loss, and what support systems are necessary to help them heal and move forward? As we reflect on the story of Marcos Matsunaga, we are reminded of the fragility of the human condition and the complexity of our emotional landscapes. This story is not just a cautionary tale about the extremes of human behavior, but also a call to pay closer attention to the struggles that often lie hidden beneath the surface. In closing, the tale of Marcos Matsunaga serves as a powerful reminder of the intricate web of human emotions and relationships and the unforeseen paths that they can lead us down. It's a story that challenges us to look beyond the surface, understand the depth of human suffering, and respond with empathy and awareness. Thank you for joining me as we navigated through the highs and lows of Marcos Matsunaga's life. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into stories that challenge, enlighten, and remind us of the intricate tapestry of human experience.